Doctor, can it be argued that it doesn't matter what kids are eating at school as long as if they're eating unhealthy at home?
No, not really. I mean, I think, one meal at school, one snack at school is really relevant. We know that even a reduction of 100 to 150 calories less a day can keep kids at a more healthy weight. So I think what kids eat at school is a really important part of their day.
Okay, so answer me this, though. This study, is it going to be enough to get states on board with the USDA's program? Because you could look at this and say, well, it works. Let's do this everywhere.
Yeah, well, I think it should. I hope it does. I don't think that we could do any worse. What we really want is evidence and research that can say to us, what are some of the strategies that can really make change? Obesity and challenges with weight are really multifactorial, but we certainly know what we eat is a part of it. And we know that 5 days a week, the majority of our kids are all in the school environment. And what this study looked at was really, are these laws in place to help prevent kids from buying what they call competitive foods? So if we really regulate what the standard meal is, that's great. But if there's a vending machine right next door that's full of just junk and soda, and kids can take the same money that they were going to buy the regular balanced fresh fruit and vegetable meal, that's where the problem is. And so what they looked at really too was language in the laws. So some states had stronger language.
And you talk about the junk food that's in the other vending machine. Even I'm looking at that sometimes and saying, hey, I kind of want that.
Right.
Hey, give me a couple risks of childhood obesity, just so people can understand what the problem here is.
Yeah, we know that kids suffer on all sorts of ways from obesity. So a third of our kids in the U.S. are overweight. More than 1 in 5 in some states are actually obese. And the problems are joint problems, trouble sleeping, stigmatization, and even challenges with self-esteem. Not to mention those long-standing and life-threatening concerns that we worry about, things like risk for elevated blood pressure and more risks for having heart disease as an adult, which is the #1 killer for men and women.
Well, doctor,
so, the biggest concern... Sure.
I got a question for you, doctor.
Sure.
What do parents do? If you saw the map, most states don't have laws like this. If I'm a parent, I want to get engaged, I want to do something about what my kids are eating. What should I do about what they're doing at school?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, these laws are not about what you bring to school. It's what the school is selling, the times they're selling them, and the places they're selling them. So if your school doesn't have any control, get involved and start talking to sports teams. Get involved and start talking to leadership in the school and think about, are there ways they can move vending machines and take things away? Encourage and pack a lunch with your kid. Now, you can do that in elementary school, but stay engaged. We know that there are lots of laws in the elementary schools and less so in the middle and high school arena, and that's when we know kids really have a lot more control of both their money and what they're eating. So get together, talk about what you guys are eating, and the goal for every single meal for every child is half fresh fruit and vegetables for each meal, which is tough. But do your best to try to get all the meals outside of school in that, and then give your kids strategies on what foods to select.